I like how you signaled the camera before there was even time. I was like, I didn't say go yet.
I didn't realize I could do it, and it worked. So
I think you can on my phone or set it up, but because I did it, I kept doing it on accident, and then I tried to do it on purpose, and then it didn't work, and I was like, fuck you, technology.
Alright, whatever.
All right, so 1 week ago.
1 week ago.
We were in Delaware.
We were.
And we were shooting a movie. And you were there every day.
I was.
You were driving back and forth.
Oh yeah, one day was a very long,
psychopath.
Long trek.
I offered you so many times, like, look, you can stay in my room.
I don't sleep out.
I know, but like, it's a long drive. It's an hour drive.
It's okay. I like my house.
I know. I'm just saying. But it's like you make it like you and I haven't like slept together.
No,
many times.
It's nothing against anything. It's just something I've always done since I was a kid.
You just hate me. It's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, so so we were in Delaware. We're 1 week later. We shot like 35 minutes of a movie.
Yeah.
It was
really that's all.
I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there was so we shot 30 pages, planned, and then because of the storm, we had to shoot other stuff. So we'll get into the whole thing. So I added 5 more pages the one night because I didn't eat. Everybody else was eating, and while everybody was eating, I wrote 5 more pages for another actress to come in and fill the thing.
Yeah.
So so we were in Delaware, and we were shooting the bulk of the second act of Amityville Pool Toy Massacre, and you were gracious, and that was Melissa. Anybody who watches the channel probably knows Melissa, going way back. But you've worked on film sets before.
Yes.
You worked on a couple film sets before. You worked with my buddy Brian on the movie with Tom Sizemore. Mm-hmm. What was that called?
Empire Tales.
Okay. I met the director at New Jersey HorrorCon when I was a guest at that because he mentioned you.
Maybe. Yeah.
The director or the producer, somebody mentioned you and asked me if I knew you, and I was like, yeah, we're like fucking old friends, man. I knew him. I didn't say fucking to the dude, but still. So you've worked on a bunch of film sets. You've only worked with me on film sets. You worked on Swamp Zombies, which was so run and gun because I needed filler scenes for that, and that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
Was your friend Megan recommended you. And because your friend Megan knows one of my exes, not the Amber you met, but the other Amber Silverman. So she's like, Megan was like, oh yeah, my friend will come do it. So you showed up to the theater to do it. We put like zombie makeup on you and stuff like that. And then you and I have been friends ever since. Like, you know, like I consider you like one of my best friends in the world, which is so funny because you probably don't consider me one of your best friends, but that's fine. I understand.
I have very few friends far in between.
I know, but I'm one of them.
Yes, you are.
All right, that's fine. Jeez. Not enough to stay in my room, even though, you know, there's another bed.
You're fine.
That's fine. So you've worked on a bunch of sets. That was the first one that we worked on together. We've done a bunch of other stuff together, YouTube stuff and all that. This one was probably a little bit run and gun. A little crazy. So I brought out 3 actresses, 2 from the St. Louis area that I had worked with on Triple Xmas, and Melissa Heffron, who I had worked with. So there's 2 Melissas on set.
Yeah,
and I'm
funny.
like trying to like, and I was just like, no, well, they call that one Echo just so we know. So that I was wondering how many people actually did that. No, they didn't. All right, I tried.
They were just looking.
I tried it. They just point. I was like, no, they literally get to the point, just point at people.
Whenever Mel was mentioned, I was like, where?
Which one?
Like,
yeah,
me.
yeah. So I brought out 3 actresses. And then our buddy Race, both of our friend Race, came out from Arizona. You know, and it was much more their people than it was my people this time. You know, when Mark and his wife, who hosted us, they were our crew on it. They brought in a lot of their own people to work on the crew. It was a great crew. Everybody was fantastic. It was a lot to drop on people, especially like, you know, I think we put in 60 hours in 3 days.
Possibly.
Yeah. You know, with lunch breaks for everybody and all that kind of stuff. But it was a lot. It was a whole lot. And you know, the first day didn't start off that great because I was like, oh yeah, I guess people aren't gonna be able to blow up these fucking pool toys with their human lungs. So we had to send Mark's brother out to go get like a pump and all this kind of stuff. So that took time. But yeah, it was a whole lot of running around. How did I do as a director?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was worried.
I mean, you got stuff done. You made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
You guys seen some clips. They're online right now if you haven't seen them.
I was telling you, we just went out to eat about the one where I'm directing from the opposite side of the door and Madeline has to open the door and it's her coverage of her screaming and falling back, and then the cameraman is in the bathroom, and then we're going to shoot the reverse of that. And whoever was filming that behind the scenes clip, you were there, and then you run to the other side, and then you run back to the other side. So from how the angle is, we just see your legs like.
Well, you gotta get stuff done, so.
Yeah, and then the one you were holding the rope on the bounce.
Yeah.
We had a white bounce for shadows and all that kind of stuff. Oh, what? You pet her once and now she wants to be your friend.
She just wants to smell me.
Okay. Elvira, my cat. Yeah, so the one he shot from the monitor to me to everybody, and you were holding the rope because the wind was like really strong and we had the shadow bounce, and there's just you like bracing like a sail.
It's because you didn't know which way it was gonna go.
Yeah, well, because at one point when they were filming, like it started to teeter. They step off the back porch in one of the scenes for a scene, and the way the wind was going, I was worried that it was gonna come down on them, and that's the last fucking thing we need.
Storms happen.
The storm was bad. Storm drove us all inside on the second night. So the cool thing was, and I have to point this out, is you came out, Race came out, Mets came out. One of my exes, Olivia, her 18-year-old daughter came out to help us, and I was convinced that her daughter might be my daughter, and I didn't know that until that day. It's because her daughter wants to be involved in film and wants to act and stuff, and I was like, well, I don't have any parts in this one, but if she wants to come out and learn crew and stuff like that, and the timing was very close, and she and I have very similar noses, and I was like, is there anything you want to tell me? Like, because my life's about to change. She was super cool. She was innocent, because I don't remember being innocent when I was 18 years old. I know you weren't. You've told me stories. But she was adorable, and
it was referred to as she would talk to you and you'd expect her to explode into glitter.
Yeah, she definitely had like golden retriever energy, as
very cool.
Grace kept saying.
Her.
She was adorable, and she was very helpful. But her coming out, and then my friend Jeanette came out, who I haven't seen in a really long time, acted a bunch of stuff for me. And then my ex-girlfriend Amber, my first ever girlfriend, she just got out of a long relationship and stuff like that, and she has a 5-year-old, and she wants to get back into acting and all this. So a week or two ago, I went and met her at a comedy club in Philly, and she was performing or whatever, and I was like, hey, do you want to come and act in this thing? And she's like, I don't know, what would I do? Because she's seen Fallon and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, you got all these tattooed big boob girls and stuff like that. I was like, no, I have this perfect idea for you. So I literally on that Monday night, everybody ordered food on the producer's dime. And that's one of my, so there's a couple of things I could have done much better. One of them is keeping track of who was ordering really, really expensive food. Because everyone should be fed, all that kind of stuff. Some people were taking advantage, and it was a major gouge on the production. But while everybody was eating, I didn't want to eat. My nerves were all over the place, so I sat and I wrote 6 pages of dialogue for Mel and Fallon and Amber, because in the context of the movie, their 2 friends go missing, and they're going door to door in the neighborhood asking if anybody's seen anything. And I wanted to kick it off with a really eccentric neighbor. So Amber, when she and I used to date, you got to remember this was 2002, so it's 20 something years ago. And that was the cool thing. Everybody who I've had like relationships with in the past, there could be long stretches of time where we don't see each other, and then once we see each other, we pick right up where we left off. And she's like, I can't believe you remember any of this shit. So she was a smoker back then, and it's in the scene. You saw the scene. She's a smoker. She was a smoker back then. She's smoking again now. And I hated the smell of smoke in my car. At that time, I had an Eddie Bauer Expedition. All right, I had leased this, like, right out of college. I had leased this big fucking SUV because I thought I was gonna be doing more film stuff back then, and I'm gonna need all this spot to carry stuff and all. And that wasn't the case, and I didn't want my car to smell like smoke. And then, like, you know, we're making out and stuff like that. I didn't want to smell like smoke because I'm like, I don't like the smell of cigarette smoke. So she used to bring an extra shirt, a glove, and something to cover her hair, and that way it didn't smell like smoke later. And this was something that she did on her own, and it was super fucking weird then, and it's weird now. So I wrote that into the script where they're going door to door, and there's this whole scene where she's like, oh, I'm on a date, and this whole thing, and she took the lines that I gave her, and she improv'd it, and she's my favorite part of the entire shoot. She was so fucking good that I want to write more scenes for her now to do more stuff. And the same thing, like Jeanette coming out and helping me. Like I forget, so I don't forget because everybody knows how sentimental I am and how much I miss my friends all the time and how I just constantly am checking in on people, even though when they're not part of my life, I'm always making sure, you know, that people know I'm thinking of them. And Jeanette, I think the last time that we had hung out before that was back when I used to do Hack the Movies. She used to deliver, because she's a mail delivery person in real life, and she used to be the mail girl, basically like Darcy, for the Patreon on that channel. And that was the last time I saw her, like before all my fucking life fell apart and she's dating this dude. I think she's engaged now and stuff. So having her on set and Amber on set and then Olivia's daughter on set and then Metz and you and Race and all that kind of stuff and then Justin Daniels, like it just made me go like, oh yeah, like I forget, so I bitch a lot about shit, but like it is hard to bitch too much when you have people who will come out of their way and drive to fly to Delaware like Race, just to come and be part of your silly fucking Pool Toy Monsters movie. So I genuinely appreciate that. And then the fact that you kept coming back too, I was like, you're a crazy person.
One day I had an hour's sleep and I had to travel from Philly to Strasbourg.
You had jury duty, right?
Yeah, I had to go with my jury duties.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it all worked out.
Well, it did. You did a great job too. Everybody was all impressed by, like, you know, how you jumped in and were so helpful on shit like that. Because there were some people who were just kind of sitting around on the company dime a little bit, you know. But, you know, some of his crew, there was like a 17-year-old kid who was doing all the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I had him take the camera. All the girls are lined up in their bikinis, like chest out, laying on the beach towel. And I had him kind of do like a 80s beer commercial, like wipe of all the things. And I was like, we just created a core memory for this little boy. Like, and then Cola, who came out and helped, he was like 19 years old. He was a big help. But yeah, so we had some issues while filming, because, you know, 30 pages is a lot. And there's a lot of dialogue heavy stuff. So it's 30 pages, 3 days, 2 states. And yes, Maryland is right around the corner. And one time I got lost and it said, welcome to Maryland. And I went, what the fuck?
Why am I in Maryland?
How the fuck did I get to Maryland? We filmed at this really cool little, like, were you there for any of those shoots? We were at the general store?
Yeah.
Okay, you were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember anything.
It's okay.
All right. I was so, like, because I've never done, I've never been responsible for, like, the technical and the performance aspect of it. You know, lighting stuff, blocking, all that. Like, it's always like, because I'm used to working with the same people over and over again. You know, and Fallon's worked with me a bunch of times and stuff like that. But, like, this was a different one, so I was kind of in it trying to make sure that, because we're using a producer's money to make our days every day. So, like, big swaths of it were just lost to me, where I was like, I don't remember, did we get that, you know? And then we had to break it up into 2 crews. Brian Wild came out, who helped me. He shot Amityville vs. the Galactic Samurai Schoolgirls, and he shot Debbie Does Demons for me. He took everybody outside for the van stuff, and then he handled all that shot, and then the ADR stuff, and then Mark took Katie outside and filmed her monologue, and then I had to run to pee real quick because I was shooting all this stuff upstairs, which is, you've seen those clips. That is the funniest part of the entire thing so far. We have a gag, I'm not going to say what it is, but when I explained it to the cameraman, he's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. I was like, right, this is going to be fucking great. And it took a while to set it up. So with Katie's scene, and we were just talking about this, you can explain this story. She's supposed to be smoking pot in the scene. And go ahead, tell your story. Tell what happened. Tell how all that came to be.
Oh, they needed a prop joint.
They needed a prop joint.
So I rolled them a prop joint. So that way she could smoke.
Yeah. But then she got fucking baked.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I saw that, I watched the playback, and then I grabbed her. I was like, oh, Katie, come here. And I looked in her eyes. I was like, all right, she got through all of that, and her eyes were like fucking like, wee. And I was like, all right, cool. I cast the right people for this one. I took an edible on Tuesday night because I was stressed as fuck. Race gave me a Xanax the first night to sleep because we had a late wrap, and then we had the next Tuesday call time was around 2:00. Because we had to wait for Fallon to get there, so I had crew and myself get there around 1:30, get things start to get situated and all that, so we didn't have to wait for anybody, we could just jump right in and roll. So Race gave me a Xanax the night before, so I slept for that. Tuesday night, I was given a gummy, and they're like, they're not that strong. And then we went back to the hotel after we wrapped everything up, we set for the morning, and so Fallon's like, come to my hotel room, we gotta have a talk and all this kind of stuff, and just talk about what had been going on. And I didn't feel anything for like an hour. And then just as the conversation got super serious, I was like, wee. So I'm sitting in the cuck chair in a hotel room, and I'm sitting there, and she's sitting on the bed, and she's talking, and then all of a sudden, her face started getting smaller, and her hair started getting bigger, and I was just like, oh, fuck. Uh-oh.
Like, oh, this is what's happening.
So I was like, hey, stop, hold on. I was like, I know this is like super serious, but like, I'm high as fuck right now. And I have zero tolerance. You know, I don't smoke. I think the only time, like, in the last 3 years, the only time I've smoked is with you. You know? And then before that, it was like people at the theater or something like that. You know, the first time I ever got high was on Valentine's Day when I used to date the redhead, and we got super fucking high when she was in college, you know? But so I don't smoke that much, so I have zero tolerance, and that edible like fucked me up. And then so Fallon and I are sitting there for a while, and she's like, all right, come over here, sit next to me, and we were having the conversation, we were sitting on the bed, and then she's like, all right, you're good getting back to your room, because she was on the second floor. Race booked another room, gave her that room, and then Race and Metz stayed together, and then I had a room, but then I gave my room to Tony DeBartolus, who was our effects guy, who came on Wednesday. Then Fallon and I shared a room. So there's a lot of like moving rooms together. And then
this is why I stay at home.
Well, the room that I was in, the room I was in the first night had 2 beds in it, and it also had the couch and that kind of stuff. And then we'll get into the whole hotel situation. But yeah, so she's like, you're good. So she was on the second floor. I was on the third floor. And I couldn't remember if I was 314 or 318. So I'm knocking on the door that I think is mine, and nobody answered. And then I was like, oh, I could have just tried my key and saved my... And then I just got inside and I laid down and I was like, oh, fuck. And then it was one of those, it was like almost like in a movie. I closed my eyes and then I opened them and it was the next day.
Happens so often.
I'm not used to that, you know? So then I told Mark the next day, I was like, dude, that fucked me up, you know? But yeah, so we did, first day was all of the girls. We filmed as much as we could with Mel, not you Mel, other Mel, Madeline and Katie. And then the next day we shot we shot with Fallon, we shot with Amber, and then we got hit with like a fucking tropical storm. So we had to get everybody out of the pool, which hurt our day. And then we wound up like I rewrote scenes to reframe them so stuff took place inside or stuff took place in the garage. And then we waited for the rain to taper off as much as it could. Then I sent another crew out to go film as much of the Fallon and Mel stuff when they're walking because I needed all their coverage for that to make our day. And so it was like a lot of like just people like take a camera and go. And then even the behind the scenes kid, I was like, I need shit for the montage of them partying. So they went and made, because Race went and bought like Jello and stuff like that so they can make Jello shots. Because he spent like $200 in alcohol. And then they're like, and then I'm getting yelled at by Fallon. She's like, don't drink on the set. I'm like, I'm not. Like, I didn't get to drink anything. Like, I would have loved to have had a beer or something like that to like relax. So they were doing like all those shots. And there was like 3 crews just going. Then I would approve the footage. But then like we were shooting until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then you would leave like a ding dong and then come back the next day. But we were like zombies by the end of it, you know. But we got all our shots in. Did you have fun at least?
Yeah.
You're being all quiet.
I'm quiet.
I know, but like you were there. You got to see behind the scenes stuff that I didn't get to see, you know?
Yeah, it was fun running around getting eaten by mosquitoes.
Yeah, so Amber sprayed us. Did you get sprayed?
I love the spray. I need Amber's spray.
Yeah, so Amber brought like this vanilla spray and got everybody, because I wore shorts, which I never do.
Yeah.
I had a skin graft on my leg. You can't tell anymore.
Yeah.
I had a really, really bad burn in like 2016, and I was burned so badly on my leg that I like was scared to wear shorts because it looked gross. But now you can't even really tell. If you can feel it, but you can't tell anymore. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna wear shorts. And then I directed big chunks of the movie while also swimming. You didn't go in the pool at all.
No, didn't make it into the pool.
You're a loser.
Hey, you want someone to do a job?
I know. I did the job while also swimming.
But then it was like by the time we got done to jump in, it was just, it wasn't worth it because then I had to jump out.
Because I'm shooting, I come around the front, Race is in the pool doing like chiropractor work on people. I'm like, what the fuck did I miss while I was out there? And then we had everybody, so we brought up the pool toys, because Wednesday night, Tony DeBartolus did effects. So we had his effects from any of you saw our stuff were fucking awesome. And that was one big thing that I wanted was I wanted a lot of practical effects in the movie, puppets and shit like that. So we have the Jaws Ferratu puppet that I wrote for that movie. We used it in this one. We had the pool filter that he built, which had that great hinge on the front of it, so he can make it like pulsate and stuff like that. And then when in the movie a skeleton hand comes out of it and all. And then the pool filter turns into this big fucking monster, which he built on wheels. And as I'm directing it, I lost where the gap was, so I was terrified that it was gonna tumble into the pool. So I kept calling cut too early because I felt like I'm like a kid, like a mother, like their kid is getting too close, you know. So I'm afraid he's gonna fucking fall into the pool. And then he built 6 of the goblin heads with the pool noodles. And then I've got everybody puppeteering them, but there was so much fog and light that I couldn't see the monitor half the time. So I was just assuming that shit looked good, and then just rewatching the thing and then hoping it looked good. But I had Katie, like, she's in a bikini and she's laying on her back in the backyard as we're like puppeteering like pool noodles, like upper cooch and shit like that. And I'm like, please don't smack the talent in the face, the vagina, or the boobs, please. Like, you know. So I'm like trying to watch us doing all of it, and then all the behind the scenes footage, Metz's ass is just like front and center in all of them. So all the comments, people are like, whose butt is that? And I was like, Metz. Like, they're like, all right. It was, and then Metz, there was another trans girl on set, so Metz found like another ally on that, and then we turned Gigi into like one of our like, you know, people for that. And the girl, we just met this girl, and she's like, you guys are fucking weird. And I was like, I know, right? And she's like, all right, you're cool. Like, it doesn't take much to be involved in any of my movies. And you quickly find out how, like, we're all fucking degenerates and stuff like that, you know? I was being very careful, obviously, because of Bradley. Because, you know, Bradley's 18, but I wanted everybody to be, like, super, you know...
He was, like, being extra super.
I was, because Christy's daughter is 15, Ava, and she wanted to be on set. And I was like, no. And she's like, you're not my dad. And I was like, I know, but I could have been, you know? But then everybody thought that Bradley was Ava... And they thought that she was Christy's daughter.
So
and they're like...
You're just right out of that.
I know, right? Because everybody, like, people were like, oh, and I was just like, first off, I thought it was weird that they knew my ex-girlfriend's 15-year-old daughter's name, because I don't think I'd ever said her name before. But now I was like, no, this is another ex of mine's daughter or whatever. But everybody had a super good time. It was a lot of work. And then we're already preparing for the next one. But it seemed like you guys all, like, had fun.
Yeah.
You know? You came back.
I did. And I'm coming back for the next one.
I know,
so.
yeah. Because we have, but I'll probably put this up, maybe I'll put this up on Thursday. By then we'll have announced who our big guest star is. I'm not going to say it here. You know who it is, obviously.
Yes.
We finally, like, secured dates and all that kind of stuff, and I think that's going to be a huge coup because she's a big name in the horror community.
So, do you think because it's so close to my birthday, I can get a birthday wish?
Yeah. What do you want for your birthday?
I don't know. Can we get, like, 100 cupcakes and just everyone throw them at me?
Yeah, we could do that. That was going to be for the OnlyFans anyway.
We'll put it on OnlyFans, too.
Mm-hmm. They're like Melissa cream pie, and then it turns out to not be what they clicked
Exactly.
on.
That's my point. That's my point.
They're like, I have buyer's remorse now. That's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. But somehow it was sexier. But yeah, no. When is your birthday?
It's the 8th.
That's right.
I told you.
I know. Well, I have it on my phone, but my phone is recording this right now. I have all my friends' phone numbers. I have all my friends' phone numbers because they're my real friends. I had 3 drinks tonight. No, I have your info in there, and then somehow I got a knife. I don't. Did Race leave that to me?
The knife, you don't remember?
No, there was just a knife on my bag, and I was like, oh, did someone give me a knife?
I'm sure.
So I was there. I reached it when we went to. So we finished shooting the other day, last Thursday. You came to my apartment to go and drop me all the pictures and stuff. And then we were like, well, fuck it. Let's go get something to eat. So we walk around the corner, and the one place that didn't have a line was having trivia. We just totally wandered in, and we fucking won that shit. And then, but as I was wandering back, I reached into my pocket, and there was a knife in my pocket. And I was like, where the fuck did that come from? So now I can protect myself from rapists.
It's Elvira.
You never look at her over there.
Look at her.
Yeah.
If we could just take a picture of that.
She is utterly useless. Well, she shows her belly because she's comfortable. Or she's dead.
I can't even see her. Her eyeball is just like...
Her one eye is open.
She's just there.
So I fell asleep. I came in from work late the other night. I worked till like 3 a.m. I got home, I got in bed, but I plugged my phone in on the opposite side. So like my head was where my feet usually are in bed. And I fell asleep there because I was charging my phone. And I kind of just like rolled over in the middle of the night. And all I see is... And I'm like, she's sleeping upside down and like contorted. And I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? How is that comfortable? Like, you know? And so I like tried to like nudge her and she didn't move. And I woke a couple hours later and she was in the same position. I was like, oh fuck, do I gotta get a new cat? Like,
sounds right.
Because if she die, Elvira, if you die, I'm gonna be inconsolable for like 45 minutes, man. It's gonna be bad.
It'll be hard. It'll be like a day.
Yeah.
I was with mine.
That's why like one of the main like when Tor died, her brother, he died the night that we premiered Swamp Zombies 2, and I was inconsolable. And I didn't even have him that long. I've had her for 7 years now.
That's why. Once you have them for like the lifespan and you know it's time for them to go, I feel like it's a little different than if it was like a quick one. Yeah,
you know. So, you know. But she offers nothing.
No.
Like, literally, cats offer nothing.
They offer more than you think.
Explain. Explain yourself. She can't, because she's a cat.
She can't.
No, I love that idiot. And I tell everybody about that I have a cat. Like, all the people I work with now, they're like, oh, do you have any kids? And I'm like, I have a cat. And I show pictures of her. And I got the same thing. I told you before what that girl said to me on a date, right?
Which one?
So I went on a date with this girl last, like, February.
Okay.
And she told me that women don't respect men who have female cats.
Go on.
That's
like, go on.
That was the whole thing. Like, where she has a son, and her son's like autistic, and he's like in 3rd grade or something like that. And she's like, oh, do you have any kids or whatever? And I was like, I have a cat. And she's like, oh, what's his name? And I said, oh, her name is Elvira. And she took a drink of wine, and she was like, I don't know, it's weird, right? And I was like, that my cat's not autistic? Like, what do you? And she's like, no, like guys who have female cats, that's strange. And I was like, how is that strange? She's like, I don't know. I feel like women respect men with female cats less. And I was just like, I've never thought. I've never, like,
I was just like
the sexuality of my cat has never come into play. You know what I mean? Like that we've never been sitting here while I'm sitting on the floor eating Wawa and she's sitting behind me breathing heavy, where gender politics entered into the conversation.
Wow.
So that was kind of I called it early with that girl, woman, because I was just like, that's weird. Like, that's a weird thing to say about my child.
I think she has autism.
At least she might have autism. The cat has autism, but she's cute, so it's autism.
No.
Or she's a cat, so she has pawtism. You know, and I had somebody come and look after her while I was gone to make sure that she didn't die. So you know who you are. You're watching this. I'm not going to say your name because we're not allowed to talk to each other in public. Yeah, so I came home and she was still alive and she had full food and water and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, all right, thank you. You didn't kill my cat.
Dun, dun, dun.
Mm-hmm. Because when we went to Ohio, somebody came to take care of her. And then when I went to Detroit, when I used to be at the other one, my friend Cammie came to take care of us, who's one of the dudes I work with's ex-girlfriend. And she's like, yeah, your cat, like, hid the entire time. I was like, yeah, she doesn't like people. Like, she doesn't, you know, she'll come out because you've been here a bunch of times or Metz has been here or something like that. But she'll, for the most part, she'll just hide from people and they don't even know that I have a cat, so. And that has nothing to do with Amityville Pool Toy Massacre. We've just gone off on a complete tangent.
Yeah, we did.
Of nonsense.
It's all right. Back to the movie.
Back to the movie. Yeah, no, there was,
We're coming back to the movie because...
Back to the movie.
August is the next step.
August is the next step. I'm going to shoot some more, before the month's over, we're going to go shoot some fill-in shots. We want to get some cool stuff of, like, where we were in Maryland. There was, like, the bridge there and the waterfront and all that kind of stuff. I want to get a bunch of B-roll of all that. Some more stuff of the pool lit and the pool kind of foggy and all, and get some more shots of, like, the pool toys moving.
Hopefully the crickets and
the frogs, the crickets, the frogs, and then whatever the fuck was out front that sounded like those things from Sesame Street.
Burr,
Burr,
burr.
That was
It
really
was,
fun.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Amazingly, it's probably your bank account is at zero.
Welcome to the club.
I don't know what else.
But I came out front to get another light, and I just hear. I'm like, close.
So I was shooting some back BTS,
Mm-hmm.
which, by the way, every time everyone said that, I was like, the Asian boy band.
Yeah, yeah.
I kept thinking, I'm like, it took me a while. Like, oh, back the.
No, it was the Asian boy band. They were waiting. They were waiting for their
It
cue.
was so fucking me up.
You didn't see them on the call sheet?
No. I was like, what's BTS? I was like, is that the boy band?
Yeah.
Are we doing K-pop now?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm old.
That's all right.
What was I talking about?
You were talking about going out.
Oh,
behind
frogs.
the
So
scenes.
there was one of the. When I give him the full set of the movies,
Yeah.
I'm literally out there going, meh, because one of the things it annoyed me.
Yeah.
And when they start to annoy me, I will back at you. And at one point, we actually had like a dialogue, but then this motherfucker stopped.
He's like, that bitch is-
And I was getting mad.
That bitch is cray.
Now I'm trying to record you.
I kept like minding where I was walking to not step on frogs.
Yes.
Because I was terrified while I was carrying like lights and shit like that.
Sometimes I caught a couple.
Well, Metz caught one, but like Metz caught it like out of fucking like midair. Like the frog went to jump, and Metz like fucking Neo'd it, like, or like Mr. Miyagi'd it, you know. And I was like, did you fucking catch a frog out of midair, like, you know?
I did.
They were crazy with that one. But yeah, so I was kind of running around between everybody, and I think the only time that I like stopped was on the day when Jeanette and Amber and stuff like that were there, because I was spending a lot of time talking to them, and then nobody believed that Amber and I dated. So I had to keep explaining, and then Amber had to keep like telling people about what a good boyfriend I was 20-something years ago, and I'm like trying to prove to Fallon, I was like, see, women like me, like.
That stick in the mud.
I know. Oh, that was so funny. I'm like, look at me, I'm Amber, I'm Fallon, I'm a stick in the mud, and she's like, I'm fun. You just write these boring parts. I was like, no, you know, because she gets to be more like wild in the third act when shit starts to start happening, but I needed her to be like serious and like the mother hen of all of them. But yeah, so it was funny just explaining like Amber and I's relationship, and then she was telling them that I used to like drive to her house when I like first got my driver's license to like listen to her do monologues and stuff like that when she was in like drama or whatever, because I was a fucking nerd, and then, you know, telling people about our sexual experiences. Still, to this day, and I said this on set, the most powerful kiss I've ever had in my entire life. Yeah, I'll never forget it as long as I live. We were sitting on the front porch of her grandfather's house. We went to go see some movie. We used to go to the Echo Multiplex, which is actually like, I worked at the Marlton 8. James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, he worked at the Echo Multiplex, and we used to have, and gear or something or stock would get delivered to one or the other, and so we would cross over, and that's how I met him when we were both like 16 years old, because he wanted to make movies and I wanted to make movies. I'd never met anybody who wanted to make movies before, so we used to go to that theater a lot. And I remember that summer when we dated, we were going to that theater a lot, and I just remember us sitting on her grandfather's front step at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was too scared to kiss her. And it was like one of those things where like gravity was saying it was time, and finally I just gave in, and it was just one of those like core memories that I'll never forget. And she brought that up recently too, and I was just like, all right, good. It's nice to know that it's not just me who remembers that, you know? And then we used to always have my weird friend Kevin, who used to just tag along with us all times, and it was like, she was like my first real girlfriend, and I'm like trying to like be cool and romantic, and I've got this fucking dude in the back seat at all times, and I'm like, can you not? Like, can you let me be happy for once, you know? But yeah, and then I think the last time we saw each other was when we shot Black Friday, the trailer for Midnight Show, and that was before she had a kid and all that kind of stuff. She had just gotten married. But yeah, so it was cool to have her on set and to have Jeanette on set and all that, and you and Fallon and Race and all that. So I kind of like took it a little bit, like I kind of took it easier that day and kind of hung out a little bit more, and when it was time to set up shots and all, but I was enjoying everybody's company a lot more, because it's been a long time since it's been a long time since I've had a set where like I'm not singing for my supper the entire time, you know, and that's why I was kind of sitting there and I was watching everybody. We're sitting outside on the next to the pool and stuff like that. I was kind of watching all these different people who were friends with me from different points of my life all interacting together, and it was weird. Like, it was cool, but it was weird, you know? And it's like one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, just because Reddit hates me doesn't mean that like all people hate me, you know? Like, there are people actually who like care about me and shit like that, you know? And then people who I care, like I love you, you know, and I'll you know,
like Deadpool and Wolverine.
Exactly, we're just like Deadpool and Wolverine. But yeah, no, that was really cool, you know, and then we have the downfalls, like the hotel situation, and which they've made up for. We booked a hotel. I stayed, so I don't work there anymore, but at one point I had 3 jobs. I was running the inventory and the payroll for an FYE, which I had to quit because people kept doxing it. from Reddit and stuff like that, and they were getting like, prank phone calls and threats and stuff like that. So I quit there. I was running the overnight 3 nights a week of a hotel where I was the night manager, and I stuck with that job long enough so that I could get a massive discount for when we shot the movie. And then I was also managing 3 public storage facilities. I've left all 3 of those jobs. I won't tell people what I'm doing now, but I have another better paying manager job. So I booked 3 rooms, 2 suites, and a standard. And then apparently the GM got fired after I put in my 2 weeks notice and I wasn't there anymore. So they didn't honor my booking. So the producer gave me money to make the movie, and what was supposed to be $50 a night and then $75 the one night turned into $250 a night. And then the 2 rooms weren't suites either. They moved it. So I put the 3 girls in the one room. They're like, this isn't a suite. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Then I get an alert on the credit card that it was like $250 a night for 3 nights. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened here? And then again, with the food situation, everybody was like ordering like the most expensive shit. And I'm like, yes, everyone should be fed. Not everybody eats pizza, all that kind of stuff. But like, the night when we had seafood and stuff like that, people were like really like, oh, well, don't mind if I do, So I had to settle all that stuff. That was a nightmare. And then, we had some people who said they were going to show up with gear, who didn't show up with gear, which meant that we had to pay people a little bit extra to bring them in. It was a lot. It was a lot of moving pieces, which, I'm not used to. Again, working with the same people over and over again, all the years of working with the Underbelly people or with the Hack the Movies people or whatever, there's a continuity there. And now, Mark and all his people were great, but there's not that shorthand anymore. And then, you've worked on professional sets before, but a lot of other people who I brought in hadn't. So there was a lot of like, hey guys, like, we're literally burning money and sunlight right now. I need everybody to fucking get on their game, because I turn around and we're doing something, you're carrying like lights and sandbags and all this kind of stuff, and like actually like working. And Race was super helpful. Like whenever I gave him my credit card and my car keys, I said, we need this, go get it, and Metz was keeping people over, where they need to be and all that kind of stuff. But there was just a lot of just trying to make sure everybody was on task. And I remember the first day we did the safety and we did a safety meeting, so everybody knew what the fuck was going on. The next day we had to have a meeting, I think it was before you got there, of like, hey, like, we really need everybody to be on point for this kind of stuff, Very first shot, there was a dog in the frame. And it was 110 degrees, and I had to go from clapboard to grabbing the GoPro to jumping into the pool. So it was 1, 2, 3. So I took my shoes and my socks off, and the concrete was like literally burned the bottom of my feet. So on the first take, if you watch the thing, like I'm like trying to like stand on the sides of my feet, like I'm duck footed. And then the dog came in, and I was like, this is a perfect visual for the first shot of my movie, is this fucking dog like, hey guys, how can I help? And then the dog was in its glory though, because it was just like, one of these fucks is gonna drop something and I'm gonna eat it,
Eat it and I love it.
But no, it was a lot of fun. Once I had time to like step back from everything that we had done, to realize like what an undertaking it was to shoot that much in such a short period of time across so many locations, and then losing time because of the storm, and just mobilizing 3 crews at a time, like that's an undertaking, so I feel like, because I kept asking people like, how did I do as a director, because I didn't know, it's one thing you could just say like action, cut, whatever, but like it is something to like mobilize humans and have everybody kind of doing what you need to do, and then making sure the lighting was good and all that kind of stuff. And then when you work with props and puppets and actresses, fucking divas, man,
Justin.
Justin Daniels. No, Justin Daniels was great. Justin Daniels, I've worked with on pretty much like since 2013, because I met Justin. Justin owns Farpoint Toys with his wife Penelope. It's a retro toy store and museum. He's in the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. He used to do stuff for Cinemassacre and all that kind of stuff. But they all met him through me. Like, they all met each other through me. Like, I'm the conduit between, like, Justin wouldn't know Tony. They wouldn't know they wouldn't know Movie Dumpster. Crystal wouldn't know them. All those people met each other through me. No, I know. But I'm just saying. So, like, I've worked with Justin for years, and he's always willing to come out and do all my nonsense. But we had downtime for him, so he decided to go, like, lounge by the pool. And that was the one video that I did where I came outside to see where the light was, because we need to make sure that the shadows match on the pool and all that kind of stuff. And I see him relaxing, which I told him he could, whatever. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. He's one of my best friends. But I came around the pool and I was like, look at this fucking diva right here, But no, he was great, and, he nailed his scene, and I knew it was like, I didn't give him a lot of prep time because I changed all of his lines and stuff like that, because when I had already handed in the script, I realized that I had made a giant plot hole in the script, and I was like, oh fuck, I need to fill that plot hole. So I had to rewrite a lot of his dialogue for that, and then while we were filming too, I let them like truncate things, because I write way too much dialogue, because I love the way that, like, I like to listen. I love hearing people read my dialogue.
I was just fucking with you. I wish there was like a timestamp, and I could just be like.
I like listening to people talk. I like listening to people say my lines,
We've been at this for how long now?
I know. Well,
48 minutes.
That's fine.
That's how I know.
I like to talk. I like to listen to other people say my lines, But, you've acted in, like, I had you as like a bikini dinosaur the one time.
I like being the shark in the dinosaur.
You were the shark. Part of, there was another Amityville movie that we shot 90% of that will never get finished. It was from the old channel.
Yeah, it was alright.
And you came in and you played, I had to have you wearing like a bunch of different costumes. So at one point you're wearing a big dinosaur head, you're wearing a bikini, and you have 2 machetes.
I am unstoppable!
And then the other time, it's me sitting in the chair, and then you're waddling behind me in a shark costume.
Shark.
Oh, it was so funny. I was just like, because it was during COVID, so you, like, it was literally...
like right after COVID.
Yeah, so it was just the 3 of us. And we literally made the entire movie with just the 3 of us for a long period of time. Because remember, you were holding the camera in the fight scene, all that kind of stuff. So it was myself, it was Tony, and then it was you. So yeah, because during COVID, you were like the only person that I saw.
Yeah.
I
was adventures.
Adventuring. You're like, let's all go get fucking COVID together. Who needs taste buds?
No, I was probably the most anal person with COVID.
Yeah. Oh no, me too. But yes, you were around for big chunks of that as we were smoking. But yeah, so you were on set for that as well, where I have the dinosaur picture. It's just so fucking weird. It's just like your boobs, 2 machetes, and a dinosaur head.
I love it.
And I post a picture, and people are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, I'm like, don't worry about it. The less questions you ask, the better. All right, well, glad you're gonna come back. You haven't abandoned us.
No, I didn't ever do that easily.
Yeah.
Now it's more or less I'm working for cupcakes.
We're gonna get you birthday cupcakes, man. It's all gonna be
Hold
good.
him to it.
I'm going to.
I said 100 cupcakes.
We will get 100
smothered with whipped cream on top, so I can be smothered.
What if it's just me, and I'm the human cupcake tray?
That's weird.
Well, did you ever see?
I know you're talking about this.
Was it Bruno or Borat? Where they had, because Paul Abdul's like a humanitarian, and they brought out like a Filipino guy who was covered in sushi, and they had like
They always do the sushi.
Yeah. Because I saw there was one where there was like a girl, it was like, I saw these dudes went to a party in New York, these like popular YouTubers, where like girls were like human.
No, that's actually a thing.
That's fucked up. That's demeaning.
It's funny because like back in 2000, I don't even know, maybe 4, 3. I had a friend. She actually made the sushi girl costume for Roasted and Pasta.
Oh, really?
She was the costume designer.
Could we put like wasabi in your belly button?
It was all like that you stick on.
Yeah.
And she had sensor bars, so she had two different things that you could do.
Interesting. Because like I've never done like a body shot off anybody before, but I have to imagine that like sushi's weird. Like nobody.
Yeah, you don't want it in certain places.
Yeah, like nobody wants
too
like
close to the clam, or are they gonna eat that clam instead? I'm like, no, this is not Weinstein's. I'm sorry.
Like a little soy sauce out of your belly button or something like that. It's like, you know, that's weird.
Oh.
Yeah.
I cry when I get tiger balm in my eye. Could you imagine getting wasabi in your?
Well, I told you the story about like, so you know how people do like the one chip challenge thing.
Yes.
So when I had the theater in Wayne. There used to be this kid Gabe who like he loved trying like, you know, like stunt foods and stuff like that. And there was like a little tiny bottle of this hot sauce stuff, and it was like, I don't know what's it called, Krubels, Google Kelvins, whatever like they say like, oh, it's this many things on the one chip challenge or whatever. So it was when
cool, I know you're talking.
Yeah. So it was when yeah, whatever. So it was when X-Men Age of Apocalypse was out.
Okay.
Because I'll never forget this. None of the owner of the company didn't pay a bill. So none of the movies got delivered until that Thursday. So I literally spent the day upstairs. I said, you guys are in charge of the building. I didn't watch downstairs. I had to just go upstairs and get everything into the projectors, everything out, everything cued, all that kind of stuff. So when I finally came downstairs, they were cleaning. And he's like, oh, I got this hot sauce stuff or whatever. So I took the tap off and I smelled it and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So he goes, oh, whatever. So he puts like a dollop on his finger and he licked it, but his finger was still like orange. And then he went in the bathroom and all I hear is, ah! He touched his pee hole while at the urinal. And so I go running into the bathroom and he's literally in the corner covering up, just rocking back and forth. And I was like, what did we learn today?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a lady in theater one was like, is everybody okay? She came running out of the theater. I was like, yeah, he's fine, you know? Dummy. Yeah, so the next shoots, we're going to shoot a couple more things before the month's over. In August, we shoot our guest star. They'll be out here for 2 days. And then after that, I've just got a couple more shots to do. We have to shoot the big ending, which has a kaiju in it, because this movie ends with a kaiju, because I wanted to...
Why are you telling everyone?
Fucking cares, you know. We already showed them some of the monsters in it. Yes, this movie ends with a tease of Amityville Kaiju. No one has done it before. I'm getting to it first. It's not a sequel that we'll ever make, but I think it would be really fucking funny to start with a movie about haunted pool toys and end it with a giant monster above the city.
We might crowdfund for a kaiju one.
There we go. We could.
Because then we'll have to make it if it.
If people demand it, I'll do it. But I would do like there would be no CGI. I would literally have people build models.
I'd be amazing at this.
So we could just smash models.
Can I be the kaiju? Can I?
Do you see how big that costume is?
I didn't see it in person. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So.
I have to be tall. Fuck.
But it's big. Tony DeBartolus will probably be in the suit.
Oh, yeah.
So the head he made, the body is the Carnosaur. He drunkenly purchased the Carnosaur body on eBay and then didn't know what it was when it arrived. So then he had to make a head for it. And his wife was like, "What the fuck did you do?" So so we built it. It's a pig monster because in the Amityville Horror, Jody, the little girl, sees a pig.
Right.
So I thought it'd be kind of cool if it evolves into this giant monster, and then we can use the drone and all that kind of stuff. So it'll end with the idea of this giant pig monster taking over Amityville, New York. But my concept for if we ever got to do Amityville Kaiju, what you would find out is, so you know that the head, the house has the two windows that look like eyes, right?
Yeah, you told me that.
It would rise up out of it, and it's a robot body, and you find out the house is the head, and the eyes are the head of the giant robot. So it's like a Pacific Rim kind of thing. So I wrote an outline just in case. It's never gonna happen. But if it did,
make him bite his words.
Make me eat my words, because I would fucking kill to do like an Inframan style Amityville movie. Like if you made like an R-rated Power Rangers. You know what I mean? Like, that would be fucking
great.
incredible.
Yes, I'm down.
Because I have a script called Laser Dudes.
We gotta get through this one first.
I know.
We have to get through this one first.
Well, because we have to get through this one first.
And
like
then ADDs, we're hurting
the
cats.
next movie starts in November, will probably be Ghouls. We already have that one slated. You know, and I've learned a lot on this one that I didn't know not that I didn't know as a director before, but I didn't need to do it myself as a director before. So, and then it's funny to have having a conversation with Amber, and I'm talking about things, and we're talking about like, oh yeah, because in this one, Madeline has a shower scene, and we have to shot her boobs and stuff like that, and I'm explaining the thing, and then I start to talk about Ingmar Bergman films, and then it somehow turns into Gilgamesh, and then it somehow turns into like American history, and we're like talking. I was like, oh, well, this is from this and this, and she's like, how the fuck does your brain work? How do you go from like killer pool toys to Gilgamesh?
It's very easy.
What is the relation here?
Very easy.
Yeah, but I was just like, just because I like making these kind of movies doesn't mean they're the only kind of movies that I watch. Like, I love art as well. It's just, it's way more fun to talk my friends into coming to be in a haunted pool toy movie than it is to try to be some dickhead trying to make an A24 movie. Like, I don't have Toni Collette. I don't have fucking, like, known actors, so, like, why would you try to make, like, elevated horror? Make something fun and stupid where you can get your friends to show their boobs and have monsters. Like, that's way more fun, you know?
Yep.
And it gives me an excuse, like, I go, well, now I know what my friends' boobs look like. I've seen all of them before, it's fine. Well, it's funny, because I told the story when I did Triple Xmas. I had a fucking dickens of a time getting there because of all the flight delays and all that kind of stuff. So when I finally got there, like, I had to literally get off the plane and jump right into my first scene. And my very first scene, Madeline and Katie are topless on set, and I meet both of them for the first time, and I'm like, oh, where do I look? Like, I'm just like,
oh.
How we doing? I'm like fucking Stevie Wonder, like. It's very superstitious. Yeah, I think that's crazy. A fucking blind guy, wrote music in the key of life. Like, that's insane.
Well, Philadelphia has our own touch tone
Mm-hmm.
DJ.
Yeah.
And one of the nights I was bartending
Mm-hmm.
at a gig, and he was there, and I'm a bartender. I wasn't thinking. He ordered a Corona.
Okay.
So I give the man the Corona, but I forgot that I stuck the lime in the top, and he's blind.
Oh.
And I felt so bad.
You're insensitive.
After I did that, because I saw him reach for it, and he was going to drink, and he was like, what the? I was like, oh my God. I was just like, let me take that out. I'm so embarrassed.
I saw the funniest thing the other night. So I was at a skating rink the other night, and so there's like adult skating on Sunday nights.
All right.
And there's like 100 people there. And
yeah, you have to let me know when there's like 2 people.
Yeah. But they had a DJ, and the DJ, like, they were set up and dressed and into it like they were at Burning Man.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, this is a Philadelphia skating rink on a Sunday night at midnight, and you're like fucking getting into it, like, and I was just like, good for them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I kind of want to make a movie about that person. I was just like,
inside the roller dome.
Yeah, but it's like the person whose like life is like, I'm gonna live the life of a DJ, like a scene kid 90s club scene DJ, but at like a Philadelphia roller skating rink on a Sunday night, Because I had an idea for years to do a documentary about people who get super into karaoke and call it Karaoke Nights, but with a K. And it's like following these people around, like their lives on a daily basis. Because you ever see that King of the Hill episode where the neighbor, the Asian guy, gets like super into karaoke? And it's like becomes his whole personality.
I do.
All right, so it was sort of like that. But I'm watching this guy from across the thing. I was like, God bless him. Everybody's got to have a thing. Like, I'm trying to make a fucking haunted pool toy movie. So I'm just as bad. Like, I'm out here calling, like, action and cut on shit in the dude's driveway. And people are just like, it's a haunted pool toy movie. Like, fucking relax, I should have gotten, like, puffy director pants and, like, a megaphone and stuff like that. Like...
For the next one, look forward.
For the next one, I'm gonna dress. Yeah, I'm gonna dress like a silent film director.
If I'm out hunting for outfits and I find, I'm gonna You're not gonna bring them.
All right, everybody, let's get ready for this talkie. Like, any final thoughts on the first week of shooting?
No, I thought that everything went as well as it could.
Okay.
Mother Nature had its little issues.
Yeah.
Did good.
I did good.
You're doing good. Now we just gotta see the footage.
No, the footage looks great. Yeah, Mark and I were going through it, and I was actually I was kind of impressed that I was able to get those shots. Because my biggest thing was I wanted a lot of movement. I hate indie movies where they just put the camera on sticks and they just let it go.
This at least goes everywhere.
Yeah, just having a lot of different coverage, having a lot of different movement, getting in the water with the GoPro to get under.
You should use my scene.
I know. We will. We'll find a way.
The bloopers.
We'll find a way.
The bloopers.
Oh, there's a lot of bloopers. Trust me. There's a lot of bloopers. Me trying to get I'm trying to keep the focus with I wanted the hand in the foreground. So there was a really famous Evil Dead VHS cover where it's Bruce Campbell and there's an actress and he's holding on to her and there's the two skeleton hands on both sides. So I wanted that, but it kept losing focus. So I keep coming at these poor people with this plastic skeleton hand and stuff like that. I don't know.
They're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're like, can we just go home now, please?
Are you done?
Fucking weirdo.
What's going on?
Yeah, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of that. There was just a lot of me and none of that perfectionism because you're only going to get so much out of people. But there was just very specific shots that I wanted and specific camera movements that I wanted, and I kind of felt like a dick making people do them a couple times because I was like, oh, Fallon's done actual movies, and I'm over here telling her how to do a thing, and she's looking at me like,
it's all right.
She's like, look, I love you, but
you're gonna get it the way I'm gonna give it to you, darling.
Yeah, and again, and she's another person, she's got the most credits of, even with the special star we're bringing out, Fallon doesn't need to be slumming it on my fucking nonsense, and she was there for me, and she had my back, the entire time, and hugging me and telling me no, you're doing a good job and stuff like that. I needed to hear that from somebody who's actually done stuff before. So, Well,
it's funny because, I remember one time she was starving. You guys are getting ready to shoot. And there was, nothing at the house for her. So I, ran out to my car. I was I had jerky and chips. And I ran back in. I was like, Fallon, you want these? And she's like, I love you.
And then I had to go find, so the one morning, the one night before we were done shooting, I was like, hey, leave me a list of what we need for the next day so I can go get it. And then everybody's like, no, we're good. And then as we're getting ready for the first shot, they're like, we need kombucha, we need fresh fruit and stuff like that. And I'm the only one on set at this point, and I'm like, fuck, so I'm driving and I don't know this area at all. So I go to Wawa, they don't have what they need. Then I go to a grocery store, they had some of the stuff. Then I had to go to another grocery store. Then I'm getting text messages like, hey, we're ready for the first shot. And I was like, just start calling action and cut to keep moving because I gotta go find these daffy bitches kombucha. The lengths that I will go for these people. But no, everybody did a good job, and I'm very, very appreciative. And just to see the footage again, because this is a script I wrote in 2017. I'd written it for someone else, obviously, and then I did a massive rewrite to make it more of the people who are in my life now. You have to be in the one scene. You have to be in the scene with the witches.
Sweet. Oh, chat on my Lady Gaga.
The producer was like, well, because I wanted to kind of be like the scene you did where you were the we don't know what you were, but you're whispering in Justin's ear. And he's like, I think about that a lot. We shot a thing for Florida Man. There's this whole huge production with lots of special effects thing that we shot 2 years ago for Florida Man for when the comic comes out, and we bought a casket, an actual it had a body in it before it got to us, so in the thing it's the wake of Florida Man, and we have all these people who are in a procession mourning, and Metz is there, and the kid I used to work with and all that kind of stuff, and the guy who worked on the Batman, and then you're supposed to be this weird mystic witchy, or something witchy, and we're like, it doesn't matter what you say, just whisper something in his ear. And he's like, I don't know what she said, but it turned me on. So that was cool. You got to do that. You've acted in a couple things now. I forget all the different stuff that you've come to do,
Yeah, and I
because we've made show in August. That's right. Oh yeah, you're doing sketch comedy now.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you want to plug that?
I don't know. I'll be at the Royal August 16th. In Jenkins, Glenside. Come see our show.
Yeah, I'll put the link.
7 o'clock.
You have to send me the link to it or something.
Well, yeah, I guess once I figure it out, they'll let me know.
Because I want to go to it. I want to go watch you do.
I'm a small bit in it.
There's no such thing as small parts. Small parts can lead to big parts.
Yeah.
You know? I'm little, but I have a big part, you know? A penis.
And on that
All right, so that's it. That's the first leg of Amityville Pool Toy Massacre. It was a month of 3 years of trying to figure out how to make it, 1 month of pre-production, 1 week of filming, and now prep for the next one. I'd say we probably got 5 more days of shooting, and then the big thing is I'm gonna edit this one. I've never edited anything before, but the producer thought it would be a good idea for me to learn how to do all this stuff to make me more indispensable, so I've been watching tons and tons of YouTube videos and asking friends who are editors tons and tons of questions, and I shot it in a very specific manner. I'm a big fan of Russ Meyer, Faster Pussycat Kill Kill, Up, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, Mudhoney, stuff like that. And he has a very specific style of editing that has a lot of cutaways and inserts and stuff like that to build the tempo of the scene. So I did a lot of that. So you'll notice we did like a ton of inserts. We were doing the stuff upstairs and in the stepping over the alligator and all that. All of that was shot in a very specific way because I'm cutting it together in my head how I was going to do it, but then I shot a bunch of other angles too, just in case I fucked something up in the way it looked in my head. Because something, the things look cool in your head, and then you look at it and you go like,
what the fuck was that?
What the fuck was I thinking?
Many times.
Yeah.
I looked at my shit and I'm like,
what am I doing?
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, so all the little things that the producer wanted in there, like he wanted the van thing. He wants a handicapped man to get fed to a pool thing coming up. Great. So Mark's cousin has cerebral palsy, and he saw all the pictures, and he's like, I volunteer. I volunteer. So he saw all the girls in their like bikinis and stuff like that. He's like, I'm in. You don't have to ask me twice, But that was Justin's whole line in the thing. He's like, I saw a bunch of big titty goth chicks feeding an adult handicapped man to a pool monster. So the woman who owned the store that we were filming in, I went back to use the bathroom, and she didn't see the script. Most of the people in this didn't see the full script. I've only shown them their scenes, so they don't go like, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
But the woman, as I'm walking back to the bathroom, she's like, can I ask you a question? She's like, what is this?
She was so sweet.
She was super sweet. That place was super cool too. They had like that hot sauce and a grenade.
Oh yeah, they were really good.
That was really awesome looking. Like I didn't know what that was. And then Justin brought me a book of like girl gang movies, and he brought all the actresses like a gift. And he brought me, because they have a retro toy store and they have classic books and stuff like that. He brought me this really cool fucking book about like girl gang movies. Because he knows me well enough to know how much I love girl gang movies and shit like that, like Switchblade Sisters and Reform School Girls and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, this is fucking awesome. And then the other day I went to the bookstore and I got a book called House of Psychotic Women, and it's about like women in distress in exploitation films. And I got it the day that Shelley Duvall died, and there's a whole chapter in there about Shelley Duvall, and I thought that was really cool. Because I've always been fucking in love with Shelley Duvall. I just thought she was so fucking uniquely beautiful and talented. And I grew up on fairy tale theater. I remember watching those for the first time on the Disney Channel and Showtime, actually. Like it was like yesterday.
I don't know what it is.
You never saw those before? She would do it was like, you never saw those like, I'm Shelley Duvall, like that thing. She hosted a bunch of.
I feel like I might have.
They would take like.
They might have been after.
Yeah, so they would take classic fairy tales. And she would have like Robin Williams as the the Princess and the Frog or something like that. And so she would have like famous celebrities in them. And then it was at the time when videotape was becoming more prevalent. Okay. So Francis Ford Coppola is like, well, I want to learn how to cut and edit video. So he was directing and producing these because it was a good training ground to do these things. Tim Burton did one. Tim Burton did Aladdin.
Nice.
Where Darth Vader, James Earl Jones plays the genie
We'll have to watch
in
it.
it. Oh, it was really cool, you know. But I fucking used to love that show, and one of my earliest memories was in kindergarten, the Robin Williams ones, because he has the line. He's like, "Ooh, wham bam, thank you, ma'am," and all the kids in kindergarten didn't get that joke, and I did. And I remember the teachers like asking what kind of shows I watch at home because I understood that joke, and like they called my parents and stuff like that. My mom was like, "Did you tell them like we let you watch like Friday the 13th and shit like that?" And I was like,
Yeah, my teacher couldn't do
yeah,
that.
whatever.
I crossed my teacher off in first grade.
Yeah,
so.
you know. But I was talking to Amber about that today. She called me and we were talking about like, you know, she's like, "You've seen this, that, and the other thing." I was like, "Yeah, man, I saw this shit way too young because I had Prism." You know,
We had it all.
Yeah, Prism was like HBO in Philadelphia.
My parents had a hot box.
Yeah, right. Mine too. So like the Emmanuel series
Oh my
and shit
God.
like that.
Skinamax.
Yeah.
You knew when you wanted to come on.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was back in the day too, because we've done this video before. We talk about like that stuff. But do you remember going to like TV Guide to see like N in the thing? Is like, okay, there's nudity in this one, you know. And I remember my cousin and I.
Victoria's Secret's catalogs. I'll
Yeah,
dig
that's
through
true.
one time and I'll bring some.
Okay, we got to go
some
through the
old
old
stuff.
Victoria's
Yeah.
Secret catalog.
No, we did like the Frederick's of Hollywood. Remember when they
Oh,
because Frederick's was before Victoria's.
I don't remember. I remember the store.
The Frederick's of Hollywood catalogs were like the books that came out before Victoria's.
Okay, I don't
Secret.
remember. I don't remember the Fredericks one. I remember
yeah.
the store well because the store used to be directly above us in the Echelon Mall, and I started dating that girl Tia, who was the part black, part Korean girl, who used to be a stripper, and she thought that I was adorable because I was this little nerdy guy. And when the first Spider-Man movie came out, I was like, "Actually, this is Spider-Man." Blah blah blah. And she's like, "Oh, you're adorable. You're like one of those little ugly dogs that's so ugly that it's cute, you know."
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Yay,
It's
a
not
girl."
nudity, it was all that weird, risque.
Yeah, well, they had all kinds of crazy
Yeah.
stuff up there. But I was like, "Yay, a pretty girl once touched my wiener." And they're like, "You're 20 years old." And I'm like, "Yay!"
Yay!
But yeah, so that's it. That's the first week of Amityville Pool Toy Massacre. And we will keep you guys updated as we go. And you've seen most of the pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of this. So that's it. Anything else you want to add?
No.
All right, get the fuck out
Not
of
that
my
I
apartment.
know. Bye.